This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins.
RTV6 is continuing to follow growing frustration among community members who say they feel their police and city leaders are not listening to their concerns over deadly violence. We saw it firsthand when a crowd interrupted a press conference downtown Monday, demanding that leaders make better grassroots efforts to solve the problem.
Well, today our crews decided to take those steps ourselves. We went to the east-northeast side of the city, an area dealing with the loss of 4 young lives in a quadruple homicide last week. Many we spoke with who live there say poverty, hunger, and violence continue, saying local leaders just aren't doing enough.
People downtown want to give you what they think you need instead of asking you what you really need.
There's a lot of killing going on, and we need a place where they can come together so we can educate them to let them know it's more than getting angry and picking up a gun.
Now, some of that work is already being done at places like the Boys and Girls Club, but residents tell us that alone will not be enough to stop young lives being lost to gun violence.
As community outrage turns into action when it comes to curbing gun violence, RTV6 is learning that 5 years ago, council members tried to put an ordinance in place after realizing stolen guns were being used to commit crimes at an alarming rate. Troy Washington is working for you to explain why the ordinance ended up vetoed and if leaders are considering anything similar in their pursuit for peace.
Keeping guns from falling into the wrong hands is the goal, and some think it's the key to solving the surge of gun violence shocking the city. 25 murders total in the first 42 days of 2020.
We've got an epidemic in Indianapolis of gun violence, and the fact that we can't do anything to combat that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
5 years ago, City Council tried to combat the problem by passing an ordinance to help investigators solve crimes being committed with stolen guns. Kip 2 was a council member who supported the ordinance at that time that required gun owners to report their guns stolen within 48 hours or face a fine.
It wasn't the answer to our gun violence by any stretch of the imagination, but it was definitely one more tool that they could use to help them in fighting crime, tracking guns, tracking what's going on in this community.
Back in 2015, there was concern that the ordinance could conflict with a state law. Ultimately, it was vetoed. According to the state law, the city isn't allowed to pass an ordinance regulating firearms or ammunition. 2 says it was never about regulating, but instead a matter of public safety and curbing crime. Greg Burge is a former IMPD officer. Now he runs Beech Grove Firearms. He doesn't think an ordinance is the answer to stopping the bloodshed and tragedy caused by gun violence.
I don't see how the two bridge each other to solve anything.
Especially if it comes with added responsibility for those who are already law-abiding citizens. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And we are hoping to get you ready for incoming winter weather, but first we have to get through the night.
Let's get over to Storm Team 6. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with a look at your evening forecast.
And we'll have clouds around, steady temperatures that will stay in the 30s to upper 20s. That gets us through the night, and then we quickly start to focus beyond. Now, tomorrow, I think all snow, northern third of the state. It's the transition zone, which will include Indianapolis, where the rain-snow line sets up will have a big impact on our snowfall potential. This is not a problem overnight or in the morning tomorrow. Your drive to work will be dry. After about 1 o'clock is when we begin to see the first burst of snow, changing to rain south of Interstate 70, staying all snow to the north. There's your advisory area from Terre Haute to Indy to Richmond north. Again, best chance for all snow Lafayette, Kokomo, Peru, Logansport. As you come south, we're likely to see at least a period where we mix in some rain. Temperatures in the morning, 28 degrees. Afternoon conditions deteriorate with that burst of snow and 35 degrees. More details take you hour by hour shortly.
Happening right now, I want to take you live to the first board meeting at Northwest Hendricks School Corporation since prosecutors criminally charged Tri-West High School teacher Tyler Bruce with child seduction. The board says it will not fire Bruce tonight. However, a representative tells RTV6 the district is taking steps to eventually do so. Right now, Bruce is on unpaid suspension. Some parents are expected to ask for the entire board's resignation tonight because of how they handled the Tyler Bruce matter. We'll let you know what happens, and that's tonight on the news at 11.
The city of Carmel could soon see stricter protections for pets.
During this time of year, having laws in place is critical to protecting animals in the cold.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade lays out what a new city ordinance would require pet owners to do.
Law enforcement receives calls from concerned neighbors for things like pets being left outside in the extreme heat and cold. Well, this ordinance would give officers the ability to take action and protect pets from things like this and much more.
A lot of these things we could enforce currently under our laws, but this adds more specifics, and that's really important because when an officer is going out and talking to someone, instead of pointing to a law that may need some interpretation, it specifically says in there, this is what adequate shelter is, this is the appropriate temperature, this is the kind of tether or chain that is okay and that won't hurt an animal's neck.
In the fall, with the help from Rebecca Stevens with the Humane Society, Hamilton County commissioners overhauled the county's animal cruelty ordinance, defining things like adequate shelter and medical care, except that only applies to county incorporated areas, not cities. Now, Stevens is working with Fishers, Westfield, Noblesville, and Carmel to update their language too. Adam Ossen on Carmel's city council is the first city representative to step up and draft new legislation. His proposed ordinance also states pet stores cannot sell pets obtained from puppy mills or backyard breeders, and they must separate any sick animals from healthy ones to prevent spread of disease.
I'm new to government, but I've always believed that government's role is to protect those that can't protect themselves, and certainly animals fall into that category.
Working for you in Carmel, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Only on RTV6, an investigation into health concerns at a Decatur Township school begins tomorrow with interviews of staff members.
And the purpose is to get information and determine a plan of attack.
The Blue and Gold Academy is off on Man Road in Indianapolis. They share a facility. It's home to 147 staff members and almost 1,400 students. RTV6 has learned the health issues involve teachers reporting head-related tumors.
Most recently in August and September of last year and this past January, as well as one case in 2018. The 4 cases led to the school district hiring an environmental company to investigate before any testing is started.
The faculty that are there, the students that go there, I treat that as if this is my own family. And the whole idea was this, is that the fact that we have people even speculating this, wanted to go ahead and take action to be able to address it.
The school district says the investigation and testing could take several months. The superintendent tells us handling and resolving this issue is a top priority. We have a full report on this developing story right now on the RTV6 app and at our website, theindychannel.com. Coming up here on RTV6, she lived through not one, but 2 strokes before she even turned 30. Now she's using her experience to help women around the nation better their lives. The stunning and inspiring story of survival.
And still to come, we've seen 5 times the flu activity compared to the same span last year. A closer look at how schools are handling this year's virus. That's ahead when the news continues on RTV6.
Work weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
February is American Heart Month, and RTV6 is partnering with the Go Red for Women campaign sponsored by the American Heart Association.
Well, this month we are highlighting women who are overcoming health obstacles and are now living heart-healthy lifestyles.
Our Kelsey Anderson has the story of a woman who's being nationally recognized with the Go Red for Women campaign.
Nicole Murray survived not 1, but 2 strokes before her 30th birthday. And every day since then, she says she's been in recovery. Murray is one of 9 women chosen across the country to be a spokesperson for the Go Red for Women campaign. Last week, she was flown to New York City, where she was pampered with new clothes, hair, makeup, a photo shoot, and most importantly, the opportunity to tell her story. She says she wants to use this platform to inform anyone who will listen about the importance of understanding your body and your family history.
It's important to know the risk factors. You want to make sure you check your blood pressure. You want to make sure that you see your doctor and you talk about the risk for cardiovascular disease and strokes. You want to make sure that your family history doesn't put you at risk as well.
Since Murray had her strokes, she says 3 more people in her family have had one. Marie says it's important to know the symptoms of having a stroke, and you can use the acronym FAST to do that. That's face droopiness, arm weakness, and slurred speech, and that's when it's time to call 911. She also says it's important to have a plan in place, even though you may think this could never happen to you. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Coming up, Vic on 6, RTV6 Sports Director Dave First and Victor Oladipo in the segment you don't want to miss. But first, Kevin.
There's a change in this latest model run. I'll show you all of the changes in a second, but from 10 to 1 tomorrow, you begin to see a little burst of snow show up. What happens after that coming up?
Where more means more.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
We are working for you tonight to track the state's flu activity right now. 5 schools have reported school-wide flu outbreaks so far this season.
Yeah, last season, only 1 school had reported an outbreak during the same time period.
In order for it to be considered a school-wide flu outbreak, 20% or more of students have to be absent due to illness. Several district representatives tell RTV6 the school nurses cannot say for certain when a student is out sick, if it's flu-related or another illness. However, to be cautious, some schools are sending out notices to parents.
Yeah, Greenfield Central sent a letter stating that not only is it flu season, but there has also been an increase in reports of stomach virus. And Mount Vernon sent out a letter to parents letting them know there is deep cleaning happening within schools to provide the healthiest environment for students to learn. Doctors say the strain of flu we're seeing a lot of right now is flu B, which usually occurs a bit later on in the season.
It's one of those reasons why we always ask everybody to get vaccinated in October and September, is because we never know when flu is going to hit.
The letters also remind parents that students should not return to school until they've been fever-free for 24 hours.
It's not too late to get the flu shot, and vaccinations are still available with the Marion County Health Department. All district offices offer the vaccination on site for $20.
Kevin joins us now with a forecast, and we're seeing some things happening, Kevin.
Well, you know, anytime we say snow this winter, you perk right up.
What? Yeah.
That's interesting. But we haven't really had a decent snow since December. I think tomorrow, the most consistent area of snow will be north of Indianapolis. More on that in a second. Living in the moment, cloudy and 35 in Castleton, 37 in Edinburgh as you head down on along I-65. Zionville's at 34. Statewide temperatures range from 32 in Gary to 40 in Evansville. Wait till you see the 7-day forecast. We'll have temperatures as cold as 6 degrees, as warm as 53 or 54, all within the span of the next 7 days. We're dry tonight. That doesn't change first thing in the morning. Still dry as you head off to work. Temperatures in the upper 20s. Kind of talk about what's going to change. Temperatures plunge after the rain and snow. Temperatures really start to fall Thursday, but they crater. They hit rock bottom on Valentine's Day. That's when we'll see the coldest there, but it doesn't last long at all. The advisory in effect 1 o'clock tomorrow to 1 o'clock Thursday. Snowfall range 2 to 5 inches, and the 5-inch amounts would be most likely Lafayette, Kokomo, also Peru, Logansport, where you're likely to see all snow. As you come south of that, snowfall amounts will diminish. Tomorrow morning, cloudy sky. By noon, we're at 36. What changes in the afternoon? I'd say about 1 o'clock, Terre Haute, Bloomington, you see the beginning of the moisture arriving with some snow changing to rain. For the rest of central Indiana, that drifts to the north. Temperatures will stay above freezing. 10 a.m., cloudy sky. 1 o'clock, there's the nose of the snow on the leading edge of this from Terre Haute to Bloomington. That pushes to the north. We get a blast of heavy, wet snow through the metro area. This is what's changed with this model run. From 4 to 7, watch the green continue to lift north of Indy. That means a transition to rain for Indianapolis. By 11 o'clock, more to the north with that. If that trend were to continue, we would lower expectations for snowfall totals and get more in the way of rain. But what we'll look for is consistency in the model runs. It'll still be a close call, and we'll end up with snow showers and that impacting, I think, the Thursday morning commute as well, because that's when the colder air will return and take over. Falling temperatures Thursday with snow bursts with the snow showers. Dry 20 degrees on Friday, Valentine's Day. We recover 38 and dry Saturday, 41 Sunday, and temperatures even warmer. Low to possibly mid-50s in the southern portion of the state on Monday. So we just anticipate tomorrow afternoon. We'll be ready for it. It impacts the evening commute tomorrow.
Brace for it.
Yeah.
We'll be ready for it, and we'll be there with you, too. Well, he's back on the court, and now back on RTV6.
The Pacers' Victor Oladipo makes his big return with RTV6 Sports Director Dave First and Vic on 6.
Vic on 6, back on RTV6. I feel like I've waited forever for this moment. Much like you getting back on the court must have seemed like forever, right?
Yes, definitely. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming. What have you learned in the 2 weeks that you've been back?
You know, I've learned a lot. Definitely just learning my teammates first and foremost, and you know, the places on the court that they like, and
that's underrated because there's a chemistry out there that you guys are still trying to form.
Yeah, we're trying to definitely form that and get used to each other. And, I don't think people realize, you know, me coming back in, I'm obviously have a strong personality and a strong, you know, game that demands a lot of attention and whatever the case may be. So you got to really adjust to something like that, adding to a team that was, you know, pretty much flowing already, and whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I mean, I'm just glad to be playing. I remember a year ago today, I couldn't even walk. So to be able to go out there and just play the game I love is definitely a blessing I'm thankful for.
The underlying theme in all this has been your buddy Domas's play. Another triple-double last night. How has he elevated his game in the last year?
He's played well. I mean, the opportunity is there. You know what I mean? We've demanded a lot of him. And he's performed at the highest level possible. And we're giving him the opportunity to showcase his talent, and he's doing a great job. Man. Just proud of him, honestly. Just happy for him. And just because, you know, I have a different type of relationship with him. I've been with him since he's been in the league. So I've seen him from the beginning, since he was just an infant in this NBA world, and now to see him kind of grow up, it's like being a big brother, so it's awesome, man. And I'm just happy for him.
You've been busy, not only on the court, off the court. A couple weeks ago, when you made your comeback, released a new track.
Telling me it's over now, got me real tight. Ever since you left me, girl, it don't feel right.
IDC.
I don't care yet.
Is that the next evolution in your singing?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a little snippet, you know, just giving the people something, you know, to listen to, you know.
The people want more, though. You see,
they definitely
just one
do.
Track.
They definitely do want more. In due time, it'll come in due time. Right now, you know, it's basketball season, so
there you go.
We'll see what the music part holds later. But for now, I'm just focused on that behind me. So
absolutely
I'm looking forward to just getting back out there full throttle.
Enjoy the All-Star break. You're not heading to Cancun or the Bahamas, or what are you going to be doing?
Working out.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
The All-Star break. There is no break for Victor Oladipo. That's Vic. I'm Dave. It's Vic.
On 6. Big time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Give you a live look right now from the RTV6 Weather Now camera at the downtown Indianapolis skyline. You want to stay with us? RTV6 News at 7 continues right after this. Well, tonight is all about the New Hampshire primary, where votes are coming in right now. The last of the state's polling locations closes at 8.
But in Nevada, Democratic leaders are trying to make sure next weekend's caucuses go smoothly.
The state Democratic Party says it will not use an app similar to the one that caused major confusion in Iowa last week. It's setting up a paper ballot system where voters would get a card with their voter ID and a PIN number. They would use that information to check in online, then fill out a paper ballot. The Nevada Democratic Party says it's adding redundancies to minimize errors. Nevada's caucus is next Saturday, the next state to hold a nominating contest.
And today it was all about strengthening the Indiana Latino community at the 2020 Latino Legislative Breakfast. State lawmakers, corporate and community leaders, and everyday citizens came together to talk about opportunities and challenges facing Latinos in Indiana. Organizers say they'd love to see more civic engagement and open conversations from Latino community members. One local Latino who's incredibly engaged, RTV6's own Rafael Sanchez, he emceed the event.
Temperatures tomorrow around 30 degrees. We're dry for the start. Snow mixing with rain, changing to rain in the southern half of the state. Arrives in the afternoon.
Okay, thanks for joining us for RTV6 News at 7 o'clock.
We will see you at 11.